Check it. There. Hello. So we're going to use the microphones this morning just because this is being recorded for our YouTube. And if you have questions, I'll come and do my Phil Donahue to your face. We're going to begin by going through the policy and procedure that we put together through session. And I want to mention that this was done in connection with the ACLU, Presbytery of the Cascades, Rogue Food Unites had a policy, the UCC Church had a policy and program, and the Methodists. So we've done a lot of research to put this all together and hoping to get it as right as we can. And what I'd like to do is primarily just go through this, and if you have questions as we go, let me know. So first I want to talk about the reason we're doing this, and pretty much I think most of the congregations in Ashland and a lot in Medford have already put policies in place. A couple of folks said, well, why are we even doing this? Because we don't have any Hispanics in our congregation. And that's true, but we could. And we have Ukrainians in our congregation. And Ukrainians are targets as well. So first I want to begin by telling you one of the things that we've done is we have marked our spaces as public and private. And so private spaces mean that if an ICE enforcement agent comes, the only way they can get through that private space is to have a judicial warrant, which I have examples of. I'll be passing these out. Public spaces, which include Sanctuary, Narthex, Calvin Hall, are accessible by ICE agents. They can come in. So there's no way we can stop them. But private spaces, they have to have a judicial warrant. So we've marked the Decoration Plaza as private space out in the Narthex, just in case somebody does come to our door, and we can usher folks into that room. If they don't have a warrant, they can't come in. Yeah. So I'll just kind of go through this, and as we go through, if you have questions, let me know. The first one deals with what we do. And I'll just read the policy part of the beginning. It is the policy of First Presbyterian Church of Ashland to ensure that our members and friends are safe and protected in our buildings. FPC will take steps to the greatest extent possible under the law to protect our members and friends and their information. So number one, it is the policy of our church not to allow agents or employees of the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement or Customs and Border Protection to access private areas of our facilities. No access will be given to records or information unless there is a valid judicial warrant. The same policies and procedures apply to police officers who may act with ICE to enforce immigration laws. I want to stop there because up until about 2 months ago, we were told, I believe by the governor of Oregon, that law enforcement in the state of Oregon was going to follow state laws. We are a sanctuary state, which means that if you are a police officer, a sheriff, you do not have to help ICE. In fact, you're encouraged not to because you're in a sanctuary state. So I thought that was all good and ready to go. And then about 2 months ago, one of the sheriffs said, now wait a minute, maybe I do want to help ICE. So because of that, we put this policy in place, and we also have said if sheriffs or police from Ashland PD come and they're acting as ICE or helping support ICE, we wanted to make sure they were there. Correct. If they say they're here on behalf of ICE. Yeah, we'll get to that. Okay, so let's talk about public space first, which is here, the narthex, the fellowship hall, and the chapel. Greeters, ushers, or church officers will politely ask officers to wait. My hope is that they will politely do so. If officers are in the narthex and tell you they want to come in to see whomever, if possible, usher them out of the area and ask them to wait outside. If the officers have already entered, ask them to remain in the narthex. We have a typo, darn it. Tell the officers I'm not authorized to speak with you, you need to talk to the pastor. So part of the reason we ask not just ushers and greeters, but also those who are church officers to attend this is there may be a Sunday when I'm gone, July 6th being case in point, that's when an officer needs to step into the church to follow this next part of the procedure, which is this. Yeah. Well, you know who your fellow deacons are. Yeah. Deacons and elders are officers. Oh, I'm sorry. Deacons and elders are officers of the church. So if you have a current directory, it lists with pictures. Okay, sure, we can do that. I don't have my pen with me, Marshall. Would you be willing to take a note on that one thing? And also that we have a typo? Okay, thank you. Okay, so if they do come in, regardless of who they are, and they're here on behalf of ICE, or they are ICE, you direct them to me. And then somebody comes up and gets me, and then I go and I speak with the officers. So first I would complete whatever it is I'm doing, and then if I'm not on site, then it falls to the responsibility of the elder or deacon to connect with ICE. An immigration attorney should be called as soon as possible. That name is Lauren Reagan. Her number is there. Amy. It's the name listed with the phone number. Number 2. No. Yes, Lauren Reagan. It's so my plan is to have this available in the back so it's always there. Okay. Third thing, officers must have a judicial warrant signed by a judge to enter private space. Again, not public space, but private space. And I'm going to pass this around just so you can see. This is an example of a judicial warrant. You do not have to know this unless you happen to be filling in for me, and in that case, it's okay if you don't, because this is a little complicated. But it does have important things. It's issued by a certain court. It's labeled federal arrest warrant or search and seizure warrant. You have to confirm the name of the person identified, spell it correctly, and then it has to be signed by a judicial judge. And I believe it has to be signed by a judicial judge in our county, but I'm not positive about that. So I would be the one who would say, if they say, hey, we've got a warrant, I would look at that warrant and say, well, either this is a judicial warrant or it is not. If it is not, I have the right to say you can't search private spaces. And so there is a form that I have that we will also have. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start having a clipboard up front just in case something happens with the important documents there. And I have a form that they would fill out, and it's a request form. And it says, you know, ICE officers, please give us your name, contact information, what it is you're looking for, and we'll contact our attorney and get back to you. So that's how the thing goes with the warrant. Yeah, Sam, hold on.
If they are trying to enter a public space and the doors are locked, can they knock on the door?
Yeah.
They can. So if it's a public space but locked, They have the right to smash doors. Oh, you said knock down. Oh, knock down. I don't know. Okay, that's a good question to find out. I would assume so. Is it for barring it? They would drive it. Or this is the little light they show up when we come and check our sanctuary.
Okay, so I'm going to move us on unless you have other questions. So I already talked about reviewing the warrant. If the ICE agents do not have a valid judicial warrant, then I will have them fill out the contact information sheet. And then on number 4, for individuals in the office, sanctuary, fellowship hall, or chapel, a stay-in-place protocol should be initiated as soon as ICE or LEA arrives. All staff and church members should remain in place until an update is sent, so that they're no longer on the premises. After I'm contacted, an usher would quietly go through the sanctuary saying they have visitors. If you don't know exactly what the officers want, you're not required to talk to them. And no, you do not have to memorize that sentence, but you get the idea. Just calming folks down and saying, hey, we've got some folks here, just relax. Church members can choose to leave if they want to, but also wait. I think that's more related, by the way, for church members who might be asylum seekers or immigrants from another country. And church members do not have to engage in conversation, answer any questions about who they are, their name, their legal status, etc. Instead, they can respond, I'm sorry, I do not want to talk with you. If for any reason an usher is uncomfortable being the one sitting their patrons and taking them, talking to them, please ask another usher or staff person to step in. So one of the things I want to talk about in number 4 is that we will be handing out cards that are Know Your Right cards, Know Your Rights cards, so that everybody in the congregation has them. Visitors can access them. They'll have them back in the narthex, just available so everybody knows, here are your rights. Here are the things you do not have to do. And so they will have those things. Any questions about number 4?
It might be nice for us to have each other's numbers by text and our phones if we need to kind of communicate quietly in church to each other. ICE leaders.
Denise said it'd be nice if we were able to have the ushers have everybody's numbers in their cell phones so they could text if they needed to, and that's a quiet way to connect. And Marcia's writing it down. Thank you, Marcia. Okay.
My question is attorney. Do we know who to call?
Yeah, so the question was, who is our attorney? If you go back to the first page under item number 2, the last dot under number 2, it's listed Civil Liberties Defense Center Attorney Lauren Reagan, and that's her number right there. That's a great idea. Maybe adding that number to your phone would be good. And I would put, this is just me, if I put Laura Reagan, 2 months from now I look at that name and go, who the heck's that? But if you put ICE attorney, that would work for me, just at that. Number 5, staff does not have a responsibility to share any information with ICE or LA, so that's for me. That's for Susan. If somebody comes into our office during the week, we do not have to tell them anything. The other things are about getting, if you're served a subpoena at home, which I don't think you have to worry about.
I'm a little confused between a subpoena and a
I do not know the difference, but I know they are different. A subpoena, I believe, means you need to appear somewhere. A judicial warrant means you have access. But that's all I know about those legal terms. But that's not something you need to worry about. A subpoena is only going to come, I think, during the week to folks in the office. Okay. You can document the encounter, and that's another good thing to have your phones for. Document name. A pastor should document the name, contact information, which will be done with the form we ask them to fill out. Staff may record any interactions with the agents. In the state of Oregon, you are allowed to record interactions with ICE and LEA that occur in your buildings. Consent from law enforcement is not required to do that. Once the officers leave, the pastor and any staff involved should fill out the ICE enforcement report.
So we could record all ourselves.
Yes. And are encouraged to do so. So I'll take you through number 7. The pastor would inform agents that First Presbyterian's policy is not to release information without the patron's consent. If the agents claim to have a warrant or subpoena, the staff should not release information without consulting with me. Pastor should request a copy of the warrants, which I would do, ask for the agent's contact information. So some of this is repetitive, and then immediately consult with Warren and Raymond. If there's an audit, I'm not sure what this is about, but it's in all the other forms that we found. The organization has 3 days to produce I-9s. Immediately contact counsel for support. I don't know what that's about.
I used to work in personnel. You have to have an I-9 for every hire, which just shows that they are a U.S. citizen or an legal status, and then you're supposed to keep that in file, and then they can, before this, come in and just check and make sure everybody's legal status.
Thank you, Denise. And then the last part, number 8, follow-up. We will provide legal rights cards for all members. I mentioned that, friends and worshipers in attendance. This policy will be provided for all church officers, already has. And I will send out a letter to all ushers and greeters and organize a training session for them. And here it is. It's happening. We will have copies, I think probably, as I think about what Amy suggested, not this entire thing, but maybe a single sheet somewhere back in the narthex that has the important points,
and then also have a full thing just in case we need it. And then I'll have, as I said, a clipboard up there with the form that ICE would fill out. And then I will probably have this so that I can remember what a judicial warrant looks like. So, the other thing I would say, take these glasses off. Oh. I feel a little bit like I've been on a roller coaster. There we go. The other thing I will say is that it is possible that federal agents will be assertive and maybe get in your face a little bit. And if that happens, we don't want confrontation, and we'll walk away and let them do the things they need to do. But this policy is in place. We do have rights. I don't want you to feel threatened in any way. Those of you who are watching this, we want to make sure that that's not putting you in harm's way in case an ICE agent does get belligerent in some fashion. Any questions about this? I know it's bumpy. We're just starting out, so we got a lot of stuff to work on. We can get them in English, Spanish. I believe we can get them in Russian. I think that's true. And I know they're available in a few other languages, so we'll have them available in various languages. Okay. They have their own. Thank you. So I'll turn it over to me. And she's going to tell you the other stuff that's more important in my mind. That's being an usher and a greeter and such.
greeter instruction. Greeter, I've got my own greeter instruction. So I'm going to talk about greeters and what needs to be done by greeters, and it's been done all year. So, more than I go over, and I'll have these instructions out on the clipboard. Paula, do you need these instructions back there? Okay, so we've had two greeters, Marilyn Rowley and Darlene Saunders. Now we're asking to have more people. So that's why we're going to do this up. So before the service, we're asking greeters to show up 15 minutes before the service, not 2 minutes before. 15 minutes. Sit and stand in the room. Sit or stand near the entrance doors. If weather allows, open the doors and keep them open to show we are welcoming. If weather does not allow, then stay near the doors and open the doors as people arrive to demonstrate we are welcoming. Any questions?
So I just want to clarify that. Weather issues it's like a hurricane out there. If it's raining a little bit and it's maybe 50 degrees, the door should be open. They don't need to be closed. Because it is hard for folks to come through the doors of the church these days. And the last thing we want to do is they think like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to church. And they get to the doors and they're shut. That is not a good message. If you are cold and it's 40 or 50 or 60, there is a heater right next to the entrance. You can flip it on, it's back behind you. You can use that for warmth. But I really want to encourage us to, as much as possible, have the doors open. Thank you.
I can hit those to these instructions. Okay, introduce yourself. So what will that include? Examples of introducing yourself? Hi, my name is. And what else? Welcome. Who the heck are you? Yeah. Okay, joyfully greet everyone, members and guests. So let's talk about examples of what to say and what not to say. Hi, who the hell are you? Come back.
Let's try it again. Hi.
Why are you here? I'm using that. Come back.
Take 3. Hi.
It's wonderful to see you and meet you. We'd like to have you welcome in charge.
Okay, I'll come in then.
Okay, cool.
Do that.
What are other examples of not to say? We've had some not so good.
You're really late. How come?
What else? Oh,
Where have you been? Why haven't you been here?
or it's been a really long time since you've been here. Those are things not to say. Okay. Yes, Sam.
Can I put you on hold?
Okay. What are examples of what to say? Welcome. I'm really glad to see you again here. That's probably it. Any other examples of what you can say to welcome people?
If you're new, could you say, hi, it's really good to see you. What's your name?
Other examples of what to say? Okay. Okay, next, and this is what the greeters have not been doing. Okay, so some of the greeters are here, so the greeters need to help everyone locate their personal name tags in the file box or complete a blank name tag. What happens is, an usher ends up having to do this, and we're trying to pass out programs and check out people who are coming in and take attendance. Plus, there's other issues that happen, like I have to set up a chat, etc. So the message we're trying to get across is that the greeters can help sort through the box and get the name tags or complete a blank name tag. Okay? Any questions on that?
If you have a big group that's coming in, let's say, and they either, and then can they look for their own name tags while you're, yeah.
The other thing, if we get a big group, then one of the ushers will step in and help the group. Okay, yeah. Assist those using walkers, canes, or wheelchairs to safely enter the church. That's really important. That means that both doors need to be open to do that safely. Answer any questions that folks may have to direct them or direct them to the ushers. So questions might be, where's the bathroom? Huh? And then what I do is I stand back there and say, see those two white things, white lights up there? Yes. That's what's really awkward about the bathroom situation. And frequently during the service, like I had a gentleman ask where the bathroom was today, and we send it down to the office, and that door's open into the bathroom that way. Okay? Greet latecomers by remaining at the door for 10 minutes after the service begins. So if you're a greeter, we really ask you to stay, because I'm telling you, we've got a group of people that keep coming in anywhere after 10:15. So now the ushers take care of it at 10:15, but there's a group, I'm not going to name who they are, that consistently come late. We had 2 of them today. Come in late, and they came 10:25. Is that when they came in at 10:35? Well, that would be an usher issue. But the greeters can help with the groups that come in. I think they come just to see the sermon. Damn. So, any questions about greeting?
When I'm in that position, I always say, if I don't know the person, have we ever done that? And then usually that kid's no, my cousin, and then that opens the door to be interested in.
Any other things that could be said to welcome them in? The ushers typically explain the jam issue, if it's feasible on the way in, and then handle it as they leave. Okay, anything about reading? Okay. Usher. Here's the usher. Also, will each of you sign the attendance thing that you're here, so we have a record, especially for the ice training. Can you hear me? So arrive 20 minutes before the service. Amy's always here 30 minutes. Thank you. But arrive 20 minutes. Check if the lights are on the sanctuary, pulpit, and narthex. Usually, that's already done by Andrew. So once in a while, I walk in here and it's not on, so we have to turn the lights on, including the pulpit. Put 2 cups of water on the pulpit ledges, one on each side of the pastor and lady. And you can get the cups in the kitchen, or we've got cups in the narthex. In the usher cabinet. Fill the water pitcher on the narthex table, including and include cups found in the usher cabinet, usually already done by Andrew. If it's empty, then you have to fill it up. Straighten items on the narthex table. Ensure blank name tags for visitors and members on the table. A lot of times we don't have any blank name tags on the narthex table, so then they have to go down to the office to get it. Put out jam for visitors, they're usually always out there. One of the things I've noticed is that the jam is supposed to have a little label on it, and sometimes the jam gets put out there without a label. Labels are where the jam is stored in the choir.
And let me just say that labels do not stick. Do the best you can.
Thank you. Make sure the little church is set out for all donations. Please interact with the other questions. Okay. This tray is sitting on the usher cabinet in the Northern closet. Okay? In it are noisy offering cups, lavender attendance sheets, and offering deposit sheets. Okay? So that's where you find it. You go over there to the closet, and they're sitting right on top, so you shouldn't have to go through the cabinet. Any questions on that? Pardon?
Yes, it's under the stairs, right? Yeah.
This is split to the attendance sheet. Usually the attendance sheet is on one of these clipboards, so you just clip this, because there are 2 things we have to do as ushers during the service.
And just a mention about numbers. There have been some concerns about us not, we have to have the right number. And yes, it's nice to be accurate, but don't sweat over it. If it's not perfect, it doesn't matter that much, but it does give us information so we can see trends with how many people are showing up. And we also use those numbers at the end of the year with our annual reports of the denomination. But if somebody has 72 and you have 68, it's okay. So I'm just telling you that it's all right.
Which is way too much. Yeah, that's really hard. The most important part is if they leave early, I'm not worried about changing anything. But if they come late, I'm interested in people on the And then I have a copy of the attendance sheet somewhere for you. So it's always out on the narthex table, either there or Susan puts it up there. Any questions about attendance? Okay, next is after 9:45 a.m., light the candles on the community table. Now, we forgot, Amy and I forgot about that today, for other various reasons, and Dan lit the candles. So,
I was so angry. I can't tell you how angry it made me. Kidding. It's fine. So between either the ushers or I will make sure the candles are lit. This is, back in the old days, we had a child that would wear and then have the candle lighter, and, it looks silly to have that all do that. So.
the candle lighters are underneath where the Bible is. So there's two of them in there, just pull one out and light it. Okay?
And the other great thing about that too is Andrew will always make sure that there's fuel in the candles every Sunday morning. So that's never anything we have to
Who does that? 'Cause I don't-
Andrew does.
Oh, Andrew does that? Okay, ushers, what we're doing is having one person offer the bulletins and to worshipers, and if children show up, we have activity items in the choir room. And they're sitting right where the jam is.
Yeah, the decorator room, we call it the decorator room.
The decorating room. And so there's a shelf full of children's items, books, etc., crayons, and that kind of stuff. And then there's the jam underneath. Okay?
The other thing I'll say about that is there have been occasions in my 8 years where even if families show up 2 or 3 times in a row. When that happens, I start putting children's bulletins out and all sorts of things so that there are other things, but it doesn't happen very often. So.
Number 5 is check off names on name attendance form as folks arrive. If possible, add names of persons attending that are not on the list, or just state a number of persons attending. Okay? So, Amy's really good, Marcia's really good at asking people for their names. So that can be done. If you're not comfortable asking names, just say visitor 1, visitor 2.
Let me speak a little bit about that. They seem like, well, why are we doing that if we're already counting numbers? One, I meet with Susan on Tuesdays at 10 and go through the attendance. So it helps me know, gosh, I haven't seen so-and-so in weeks. And then, also, if we get lucky, Sabrina McWitty, I think is her name,
Right.
African-American gal that has been attending for weeks.
Yeah, she has.
We got her name because of the attendance thing. And then somebody started calling her that, and somebody asked her, do you want a name tag? And now she has a name tag, we know who she is. So it helps, it's just, there's so many people so often do not want to give your information. And it's just one more way. If they don't fill out the attendance form that I asked them to sign, maybe they get it out the door.
Well, how are these tablets used by you, Susan? But do you need this plus all the other?
Because they might not tell you who they are. And you say, well, what's your name? They might say, well, I don't want to tell you. Well, maybe they filled out. Or yeah,
It's just one of the many ways to get information. So there have been folks in this church who've actually become members that will, 1 week, they write their first name. They come back 2 weeks later, they give you their last name. 3 weeks after that, they may write it in their email address. So it's just like many doors, I guess, is the answer to getting info.
Okay, that's number 5. Number 6 is assist visitors and members with a name tag. Greeters usually help with name tags for visitors. That's an on and off thing, so I'm really trying to get the message to greeters to help us with the name tags. Offer jam to visitors to pick up after the service and invite them to fellowship. So I try to get that message out to them first when they walk in. As they walk in, I show them where the jam is, and then when they leave, they know where to pick it up. Advise visitors as to bathroom locations. This is a pain in the rear, because most people, I will tell them, really good at this, tell them that they can go up the side. Most people are not going to go up the side of the So they usually ask us when they come out to the narthex. So then I just, any of us, send them down to the office area and down the hall, and that's always open.
And I'll just mention one thing, this is a little bit of a rabbit hole, but you all know we're in the midst of trying to come up with a building campaign and fix whatever we can. But there's been a lot of discussion about putting a bathroom back in the narthex, so that people don't have to worry about coming down or going outside or going to the admin building to use the bathroom. So that's just one thing we're talking about.
My personal opinion is yes, we need it. So that's my personal opinion. Okay. Advise hearing impaired attendees that hearing assists are available at the sound team. So the common people that use hearing assists are the Weltons, that Mr. Welton, and also Sue Sager. But there's other people, what's her name that comes in at 10:30? Erna, and there's another woman that comes in. But anyway, if somebody asks about hearing assists, you just send them to the sound team and let John and Jim handle it. Okay? You can say anything.
Waiting for it to come on. One more thing about that, you may hear from somebody as they go out, well, I couldn't hear anything. If you hear them say that, then do let them know we have hearing assist, because they may not know that. It's chances are really good.
Okay, number 10, walk outside narthex doors at 10:15. And check chapel and bathroom hall, outside doors are locked from outside. Usually this is done by Andrew by 10:15. And this is a safety issue to prevent unwanted guests. Well, when that happens, then you can't get into the bathroom. So, basically Andrew does it. I haven't been checking it, whether it's closed or not, so, but it would be good to make sure it is locked. But,
So you have to know how to lock the doors at 10:15. And there's an Allen wrench it's on a purple to show how to do it. And those of you here, we can show you how to do it too on your way out today. It's pretty simple.
I can add that on.
Well, yeah, good idea.
Okay, during the service, any questions up to this point? Yes.
It says that the doors are locked at 10:15, but people that arrive late, that's the ushers.
Ushers have to open the doors.
And the bathroom, the outside bathroom
Is locked
is locked.
during the service.
The reason for that is so you know, we've had training with the sanctuary, we've had training for what to do if a perpetrator comes with a gun. One of the things we were told is it's not good to have access from the outside that basically cuts off one potential exit. So we lock this door at 10:15. We also lock the front doors at 10:15. And we had, a couple of years ago, a guy that seemed really out of it and wanted to come in. And fortunately, the doors were locked and he went across the street and eventually got arrested by the police. So,
That's a good point.
yeah.
So, if you go back to the front page, number 10, it says lock outside narthex doors at 10:15. If you don't know how to lock them, I'll try to teach you. Okay, it's real simple, but we have to lock those. And then we have several people like us, two Samoans showed up here, and we had to open the doors for them after 10:15.
It's American Samoan time.
Yeah, right. Okay, questions? Okay, so back page. During the service, leave the inside narthex doors of the sanctuary open. Stay aware of any potential problems or disturbances. So we leave it open so that we can watch the pews and see if anybody's in trouble or needs it. Seat latecomers. Advise late arrivals to keep their voices down.
Please.
assist worshipers as needed. Now, this is, and it happens before the service. The narthex is crowded with tons of people out there, and I and other ushers are trying to get people into the sanctuary because it's just a bottleneck back there. So ushers need to really help move people through.
And if you look, so it may seem like the narthex is separate from the sanctuary, but the sound goes straight up and then comes through here. So when somebody comes in at 10 after and says, "Hi, how are you?" It's pretty loud. Yeah, so your duty, if you can do it, is to nicely, graciously get them to keep moving,
And
get
keep
into the
quiet.
sanctuary, and then do it quietly.
Do it quietly. So seat latecomers advise late arrivals to keep their voices down. And I put in here, close and lock outside entry doors again to sanctuary by 10:15. Okay, for noisy offering, second Sunday of the month, locate metal collection buckets. I told you where they're at, on top of the usher cabinet in that basket. Okay? And I always try to get enough change to do it, or I'll put a couple times I'll put rocks in there. I get little pebbles if we don't have change, okay? Just to make a noise.
And you can say what they say sometimes in Presbyterian meetings, which is, we also take folded money, but you don't have to say that. That may be a little forward to,
Okay. Locate metal collection buckets and pass out on pews on each side to make sure you make a lot of noise as you collect the money. What is she bringing up here?
What would Jesus do? Jesus would do what Paula is doing. Thank you, Paula.
That's okay.
Thank you for doing that, though.
Okay, the next section is attendance. So if you go to the front page, number 5, under before service, check off names on main attendance forms as folks arrive. If possible, add names for attendant that are not on the list, etc. Okay, so you go back over here, under 5. During the service, use the small lavender attendance form to count the attendance, usually after pass the peace. So don't do it until after pass the peace, because it's chaos when you pass the peace. And then that's when you can count how many people are on the left side, how many people are on the right side, how many are in the balcony, etc.
And can I tell you what the reason that's there? I was told my first year here, I reinstituted passing the peace. I was told by a number of people that folks would show up after passing the peace because they hated passing the peace. They don't seem to anymore, but they still come late. But that's why we originally put it in, because if we're going to do attendance, and people are like, well, I'm not going to come until the passing the peace is done, that way we could get it. So anyway.
Okay, usually okay, then using the small lavender attendance, count the attendance. Some ushers think best done from the balcony and fill in the form from the balcony. I'm going to add one other thing. The online part of that attendance sheet is not done until after the sermon because we get online people during the sermon. Yeah, so like today we have 13 before the sermon started, it was 10. So it's better for us to fill that line in after the sermon, or at the end of the. You didn't know that? No, there's usually a group of 10, so that's there. Okay, prayer time. Provide portable microphone from the sound team to persons requesting prayers. Check with sound team if any prayer requests from the YouTube chat. So let me say something about Mike. Number B there, try to wipe the microphone foam cover with Lysol right between each speaker. We have the hand sanitizer there it just takes Kleenex, folded Kleenex, get that way, and then just between speakers tap the mic, and then that kills this germs that have been from somebody that's speaking into the mic. Yes, ma'am.
And another thing you might want to do is when you give somebody a mic, tell them to not use it like this because that won't help at all. But if they take it
And put it like this. What I often say to folks is pretend you're eating an ice cream cone.
Okay.
That way it gets where it needs to be. Most of the folks have gotten pretty good, but initially they were.
well, I just want to pray for all of you.
I can put that. Okay. Try it, so check with the sound team if any deploy requests from YouTube chat, and then also cover the microphone on the right side between speakers. After benediction, open the sanctuary narthex doors, move welcome poster from outside and put it in the narthex near the outside door. If you're not strong enough to do, then get somebody to help you. Two can move it, or one of the nails in the sound team can help you. Okay, it's pretty heavy, but we have to take that out and put it in by the usher cabinet. Questions? Okay, after the service, visitors often jam and form a fellowship and provide church info. Any questions about that? Extinguish the candles, empty and discard water cups, empty water. Sometimes the candles are already extinguished. So, but we need to extinguish candles, empty and discard water cups, empty water pitcher, usually on grass outside, leave on the narthex table. So I just take the water pitcher and water on the grass outside. Collect attendance sheets from pews, clean up, straighten pews as you do this. So those attendance pads, sheets, go with paperwork to the office after the service. Then we check the small church for any offerings, put all offerings in the collection envelope. We do not count, we only count the cash. We do not open the envelopes, and we do not count the checks. We just grab the checks, grab the envelopes, and put it inside the envelope. And we only count the cash. And two people should count the cash and sign the envelope. Then close all windows, turn out lights in the sanctuary and narthex, turn off fans and close all doors. Take extra bulletins, attendance sheets, seal the collection envelope to administration office. Leave the attendance sheets and bulletins on Susan's desk. Place sealed collection envelope in the safe. For noisy offering, place the bucket with the money in the same cup next to the safe. Do not count the change or money. Questions?
It's up above the copy machine.
That's a good way to describe it. Above the copy machine in the office. And open the door and just stick it in there. But if it's noisy offering, we put the buckets right, or put the bucket right next to the safe. Any questions? And maybe have another one of these for the direction. We have a number of questions.
We will encourage them to watch the video.
Okay, great. And these instruction sheets are going to be out on the narthex table. In the narthex, on the narthex table on the clipboard. So you can all look at it.
And we will give a prize to the usher who knows most of these rules without having to read them. I don't know what it's going to be. And I just want to say thank you to ushers and readers, because literally you folks are the ones who are the first ones they meet.
Right.
And you create a first impression to welcome someone. So thank you for being there and doing that. It's very, very important and wonderful. I appreciate each of you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
If you,
Everybody come back here and I'll show you. It's easy.
I help me, but I don't know how to.
Thank you, Jim.
Bet.
I'll give you overtime today.